Alexis Nunes alongside Janusz Michallik, looking at the match that probably turned out to be more of a contest for Arsenal up against Watford at Vicarage Road. We saw 5 goals, Janusz, but Arsenal do get the 3 points after a 3-2 win. And as we said, I mean, after quite an eventful first half, Arsenal looked in control. Then Watford fought back again towards the end of the second half. But overall, how would you rate Arsenal's performance and how they handled this win?
Well, I think it was quite frankly a very, very good performance, right? I mean, I think Mikel Arteta, the perfectionist that he is going to look at the results and think that, or say that's probably too close to what they've done. I mean, take aside Kucha's wonderful, side volley or bicycle, whatever you want to call it. I mean, of course, you can prevent the cross from coming, and we can dissect this, but it probably doesn't matter. The second goal is he's going to be displeased with that because I think Saka, maybe Ramsdale, and Ben White could have done better on that one. But the manner in which they scored the 3 goals was sensational. It brings back the memories, right? I mean, almost as if Arteta is rediscovering the Arsenal spirit and philosophy, and not just in this game. I think we've seen that because let's face it, I mean, they're flying under the radar. They probably like it that way because none of us thought early in the season that Arsenal could be in the position that they're in. I think you and I and everybody else in our business have probably were looking at. I mean, we were even talking about Arteta perhaps going. They finished 8th last 2 seasons. They were young. And yet, all of a sudden, with a couple of additions to their squad, they've rediscovered themselves. And look, none of this, these 3 goals, and the third one in particular, where Arteta had an assist, Cedric, all one-touch football, not lingering on the ball, building as they did under Arsene Wenger, maybe Arteta, obviously being part of Pep's squad. It kind of reminds you of all of that. And it's these young players that are buying into this project. They're enjoying it. I think they love the way they're playing right now. This is straight from the training pitch. None of this happens by chance, Alexis.
And as you said, just touching on that point, Arsenal definitely flying under the radar. And here they are now, as of now, in the top 4, 1 point ahead of Manchester United. Man United, of course, have to play against Manchester City in the Manchester derby. But if they do lose that, which I think a lot of people are expecting them to, that's Arsenal solidifying their spot in 4th right now. And I know they have been flying under that radar with all that's going on and off the pitch for Chelsea, with City and Liverpool kind of involved in a title race. But is there one thing that has plagued Arsenal, I suppose, is consistency. At some point, we've almost laughed at the thought of them getting into the top 4, but here they are now. Can they be consistent, though, to stay here? Is there any other signs you're seeing from Mikel Arteta's men that will suggest this?
Well, let's clarify. I mean, they're no longer flying on the radar. You could say that before even we knew they were coming, but they're here. They're in the 4th spot, and before the Manchester derby, at this stage right now, they're in 4th place, and they do have 3 games in hand. Of course, Manchester United will play City today. That will change. Their schedule is not easy for the rest of the season, as we know. I think they've been consistent enough. They've been consistent in winning the games you're supposed to win. And there's a lot to be said about that. It's easy to point out that, of course, against the top 4 or 6, maybe they haven't been at their best, but who says that's not going to come? Because part of the progress is just that, right? At first, you don't have success against the great teams because you're building something. You have a lot of young players. Yes, there's some veterans here and there, but, in order to put that together, Alexis, right, it takes time. So if I were to say now, well, yes, I'm worried because they haven't beat the Cities, Uniteds, Liverpools in the past, and they have a tough schedule coming up. Okay, that's fair. But I think the success they're tasting right now could mean that they're going to win some of the bigger games because they feel the confidence right now, don't they? I mean, look at Martin Odegaard, look at Saka. I mean, I don't even want to bring out the involvement. Obviously, Saka's been involved in just about every goal they've scored in the last couple of months. Odegaard, there's talk about him being a captain in not so distant future, right? Those 2 were tremendous. I mean, you look at Bukayo Saka, and one-on-one, he's unplayable at the moment. I mean, nobody can defend him, really. So I think there's a lot to be said about that. And I think 2 players who maybe, I made a note today that part of the success is Aaron Ramsdale and Ben White. And I stick by it, even though today there are a couple occasions where both Ben White and Ramsdale maybe weren't at their best. But I think in general, I don't think those are the players that we felt were going to necessarily change the way Arsenal look, but they have. I think they've been much more solid because of that, right? Even Gabriel in the back has been better with Ben White, and Ramsdale, I think, has played an important role. Thomas Partey, to a degree, he has as well, but I think we expected that. We didn't know what to expect from Ben White and Ramsdale, and they've been tremendous. So I think if you look at it as a whole, this is a high-flying Arsenal team that you can actually see the progress throughout the season, and you can't say that about many other teams.
It's been a while since we've had this positive of a conversation about Arsenal. And with that said, you mentioned some players who have played crucial parts like Odegaard, who is still so young, Saka, etc. But what about Mikel Arteta really coming into his own as manager? Because as you said, at one point, we didn't even think he had that much longer at Arsenal. And in terms of establishing a new Arsenal, a set style that we can identify them with, something that, you know, can stick for years and years to come, do you see him coming into his own as manager?
Oh, absolutely. And this is where probably, many of us have jumped the gun on him a little bit. And that's normal, right? I mean, he's still on a very young manager. I mean, we do that with, maybe like Frank Lampard as well. I mean, at some point you have to learn, and it's a massive responsibility. I mean, Mikel Arteta is the manager of Arsenal Football Club. This is not, say Graham Potter that comes into Brighton. Expectations are much, much lower. I don't want to take anything away from him because, with his budget, he's doing a tremendous job. But I think there's a massive difference in how we look at teams and managers. So look, he's a tough cookie. And I think, what he's done with Mesut Ozil, what he's done with Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, that just shows you his resolve. It shows you that he knew, he's almost, mapped it out, how he's going to do it. He probably said it even to himself, this is not going to be easy. There's going to be pressure from supporters. There's going to be pressure from pundits. I mean, these are big names. And, he's been consistent with that in getting these young players, getting them hungry for success, because he knew they had the quality, and then implementing his style of play. And I'm telling you, I mean, you see it, right? It's no longer a team that builds forever, sideways and backwards, quick transitions, one-touch football. Today, I mean, if I were him, I'd be putting up all those 3 goals on the board and showing it to their players every game. So this is what we want. I mean, again, you have to go watch that 3rd goal because it's excellent. I mean, you know how switched on they were, and that includes Arteta, who helped with that throw-in, right? I mean, this is something that we normally talk about Arsenal and say, yeah, concentrations level are not there, mentally not tough enough. I mean, maybe fading away from games, and they really. It was great to watch, and I think it's not just this game. We've seen it now for a while. Is there going to be a setback? Possibly. I mean, this is a Premier League, and they're still young. But I think if you look at this team with, again, few additions in the summer, you can see how this Arsenal are ahead of the likes of Manchester United, perhaps, right? And, look how long it's been till they've been able to put things together as well. So, hey, it's a long road, but Mikel Arteta's got to get ton of credit here.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.